for my process also, what I did was I created an Excel sheet. I just picked out five organizations which I liked, and then I write what they are about, for how long they are contributing, because that will give me the thing. Okay, what are the chances of them getting contribute of them contributing like selecting in this year? So proposal is telling the mentors that whatever project they have said, like let's say in my time it was Google, they wanted to add a Google reCAPTCHA. So I will tell you with that example. So I have to mention in that proposal how I am going to do this project, what all things I will be doing. So one of the best thing which you can do is you can create a small POC.
Hey everyone, welcome Disha, who is full stack developer at Lowe's, and today she is with us to guide on GSoC, its benefits, how one can go into open source, about GitHub, and all your doubts regarding the development. So, Dee, let's start the video with your introduction.
Sure. So hello everyone, and thank you Pasna for having me over here. So I would like to introduce myself. Myself, Disha Bhardwaj. I'm currently working at Lowe's as an associate software developer. So in my professional journey, I've completed 1 year, and I've also been a participant in Google Summer of Code, and I've contributed for Rocket Chat. Apart from that, I'm really excited for today. So let's continue with the program.
Yes, Dee. So, the first question which comes is why GSoC? Like, some students are in first year and they don't know about it. So, how they can go into open source, why open source, and if they go into GSoC, what will be the benefits of it?
Okay, so let me ask for the question. Like most people in the first year, they are not even aware of what is open source. So let's start with that. So open source is basically it means the code that is used for developing the software is available for free. Anyone can use that code, anyone can modify that code, anyone can share that code, and we can use it. It's like publicly available for everyone. So you can think of it, if you say it in a very layman language, you can think of it like a recipe. Everyone has the recipe of a dish, but we can tweak it according to our own requirement. So similarly, we say about open source code. So that is what all about open source is. We see a lot of software in day-to-day life also, like we are familiar with Python. Python is also a very popular open source software itself. And even Linux, that is also open source. WordPress, which is recently became very popular for developing websites, that also is open source. So there are a lot of open source softwares. So you can just go and contribute. So why open source like helps students and professional anyone? So as it gives a real world experience to the people. Since let's say I'm developing my own project, I will be having a very small knowledge and I will be having a very small code base. But when I'm compared to the Python, Python program or some other software that I know around, they are like very big. They have a huge code base. So to understand them, to understand, to work on them, it gives you a real world experience. How actually the professional experience looks like. So for that, this open source software like very important for students or for professional to learn new skills, to collaborate with people. It helps you to collaborate with people and all around the globe. It's not just you're limited to a particular space, your particular college. It's not, or even a particular company. People from all around the world contribute over there, discuss over there, have their point of view over there, like what is good, what are the best practices we learn from there. So all these things help students to learn from them. As we all know that getting an internship also is really tough these days since the competition has become huge. It's not very easy that we just go and get, let's say if I want, it's not very easy for me to go and get a good internship in MNCs. Like people are not only from tier 1 colleges. Even I'm from a tier 3 college. So I know that it is a struggle for getting a good internship at a good MNCs, and it plays a really important role in your resume as well. So for that, open source is like a gift to us, I would say, that we get this opportunity, that mentioning that you have contributed for this organization through open source puts a very good impact on the recruiter side. Okay, this person has a real world experience, so this is really beneficial. And it's not like you have to crack any exam or crack any interview to get in this. Just your skills, your time you have to invest, and you're good to go. So now, coming on to the next part, what is GSoC? So since I had told you like there are a lot of open source software around, So what Google did is, so Google launched this program that encourages all the students, and now they have started for developers also, like 2 years professional experience can also participate now. So for the new, for the, so basically to encourage open source and to encourage student, they have, they like group some of the open source organizations, and they like get, they give the chance to student to contribute over them, contribute to their projects. Let's say Google picked, like every year they pick 120 something organizations, and they fund those fund the students who are contributing in those organizations who are selected for the program. So they encourage a student to participate, to learn, to code, and with for all this you get the stipend also, which is like a pretty good amount they give. So it's really good. So to encourage the open source, to increase the student participation in that, they have launched this program. Because we all know, like whenever it's like any big organization has sponsored or anything, then people get enthusiastic about it. Like there are different open source, popular open source program also, like GitHub externship is also there, which is again very popular for. They have all this launched this only to encourage the open source community, so that people can know more about it, people can be aware of it, people can participate in it. So, what if I say in a very proper professional language? Is Google Summer of Code is a program by Google which actually encourages students and newcomers to open source development. So participate there, get the chance to contribute, to know the real world experience of how the projects look like, and it's like for 3 months they have different timelines, 3 months and 6 months. So over this period, people uh, should improve their skill set, and they are being like there are different mentors over them which guides them how to complete the project and everything. So that is like what is GSoC. So if we go in detail, there are a lot of things. So should I tell like how the process goes on and everything?
We'll cover this in the later part of the video.
Okay.
Yeah. So coming to the next part, as like seeing from the student's perspective, when they can apply in it, like a first year student generally asks, am I good enough to participate in it? So can they
I
participate with
feel
basic development?
anyone, yeah, I feel anyone with the basic knowledge of development should participate in that. Like, okay, even if you're not able to crack GSoC in the first year, you will get good enough knowledge. It's not just about being selected in the program, it's about how knowledge you're getting from there. Contributing to open source is itself a big thing. It's not just you have to get selected for GSoC. Contributing to open source is a big thing. Let's say I'm in first year and I have a basic knowledge of coding. Like this is required. I would say it's not something you can just go and understand the real world project without a basic knowledge. But yeah, I think basic knowledge of any of the languages is good enough to start. So you can just go over to that GSoC portfolio and you can select the organization. Like let's say I'm good. I have a basic knowledge of React. So I will go and I will look this organization who are actually who have their tech stack as in matlab, who have the React in their tech stack. So for that, what I will do is I will look for that organizations. I will try to understand the code base. I will try to clone the project. Like cloning is basically getting the project in your local. So I will get that project and I will try to see how good I can understand the flow. Let's say even if I'm not able to understand the code 100%, then also since let's say I'm talking about a first year student, I'm only able to understand the 20% part of it. I can try some tweaking and some try some seeing okay if I'm able to make some changes in the code or not. Let's say I made let's say in the website there's some small padding issue, I would say. Just a small width issue is there, padding width issue is there. So maybe I'm just fixing that thing. So that also will give me so much confidence to work on the projects later on, because I feel the most tough part about open source is getting that first contribution. Matlab, I feel कि if a person even do the readme changes na, that also will give them enough confidence कि okay, I am able to do something. Once the PR gets merged, it's like okay, I am doing something. It gives you that feeling. Until unless we don't get that feeling, it's very easy for us to get demotivated, because again, understanding this huge code base gives you like, oh my god, what is this? I have to do this. Am I enough, like good enough to do this? So this question comes up. So I think if a person in first year is looking for that, even if they are not selected, they will give that much confidence to them to continue that. So I think yeah, first year student with the basic knowledge should participate, or I should say at least try. Even if they are not selected, try for very small contribution, and I think you will get the confidence yourself to continue, if you, even if you're not selected, to continue for the next year.
Like Oktoberfest is coming.
Yeah. Oktoberfest, I feel, is a very good opportunity to start your open source journey because, like, say, GSoC and all, these are little bit, they only get organizations which are popular and have a really good reputation and all. But when it comes to Oktoberfest, they are very good for the beginners. They have all, they are not just restricted to good organizations. They have uh, organizations for beginners also. They have for intermediate and advanced. So they basically cover all these things. And even the beginner level organization, they put out very small bugs in their code so that students can come and contribute. So if you're planning for GSoC, I think Hacktober first should be a must go for you, because it will give you that encouragement. Okay, this is not that tough thing.
Okay, so like knowing GitHub in depth is necessary for GSoC, like PR merging and everything.
um, Since I think, yeah, it is necessary, I would say, but not in depth. Just few commands would help as well. Like just clone fork and how to get this clone fork and how to add, commit, and push. I think these commands will be good enough. Like four, I would say four, five, six. Just one day thing, I would say. It's not that tough. So if you start with the process, you will eventually learn. It's not like you have to learn prior to it. You will learn in the process also. First, just start with the cloning, just fork the repo, then just clone the project, then just try to make the changes, then what, then there's three commands and a pull request, so you will eventually learn. It's not a very tough thing to understand. So a person who's not having a good enough knowledge of Git, like students should not stop themselves because they are not aware of Git and GitHub. Trust me, they are very easy to understand. Like even if a person want, they can understand all these things, the basics, I would say, in one day itself. So because of one day, I won't suggest anyone, okay, you're not aware of Git and GitHub, so don't go for open source. Obviously, go for open source. GitHub and should be very easy to understand, like not very tough things. So this should not stop you from doing the open source. You can eventually learn that.
Now going in the depth of GSoC, how one can start their GSoC journey, and some tips while checking the project ideas of the organization.
Okay, so when a person starts for GSoC, so every year GSoC has the, if you go to the portal, if you just type Google Summer of Code, you will find the Google that link to their website. So every year they launch, they in January itself they start giving the, on February I would say, yeah, in February they start giving out organizations who are selected for that. But you should not wait till that time till they launch the organization. You every year it's like most of the organization remains the same. Some of the new ones get added, like let's say 20, 10, 20 gets minus and 10, 20 gets added. So the process remains the same. So you should look for the organization that have like recently how, like for how long they are participating. You can go to that organization and see. So first thing should be selecting the organization. So for that, you should know what language you are familiar with. You can't just go and directly say, okay, I will do Python, but no, I only know JavaScript. So if I'm familiar with JavaScript, I will look for the organization that are contributing in JavaScript. Then I would uh, tell the students to like shortlist five of the organization that are matching their interest. Like interest matching is very important to keep your that encouragement going. Okay, that I have to do this. So to keep ourselves motivated, we select the organization. And for my process also, what I did was I created an Excel sheet. I just picked out five organizations which I liked, and then I write what they are about, for how long they are contributing, because that will give me the thing. Okay, what are the chances of them getting contribute of them contributing like selecting in this year? So that I mentioned, interest I mentioned, what are the technologies they are using? Because let's say I am doing JavaScript, I'm familiar with React. It's not necessary that they're only using the things I am familiar with. There might be some or the other library I'm not familiar with, and I have to learn in the process. Because you won't get, even if you go to an organization or anywhere, you won't get 100% matching tech stack until unless you are just familiar with everything. So they some of the other thing you have to learn in the process. So I just noted down like how, what tech stack they're using, what are library they're like majorly focusing on. So that all thing I mentioned, because let's say I selected an organization and they are using five different things, five different, let's say two languages and five different libraries I'm not at all familiar with. So then it won't be like five, learning five will be a little bit tough for me. So I will look for the other. Maybe they are using two, which I'm not familiar with. The other one is using one. So on that basis, and the one which is matching my interest. Also, when while selecting an organization, one thing that needs to be keep in mind is the community should be the organization has a active community channel, because it's like all over, people all over the world contribute to their code. So I should have, there are like very fair chances that I will get stuck in between somewhere or the other, maybe while understanding the code base, or maybe while cloning the project itself, while running the project itself I will get stuck somewhere or the other. So it's very important that they have an active community channel. So while selecting an organization, they always mention their community page. Just go over there and just see how people of the community are actually replying to the problem of the students. If they are like good enough, active enough, then obviously that organization is good and you can actually go for that, because people are helping over there. So you will get a fair chance to understand. If the community is not active, and if you are actually aware of everything over there, I would say no. Okay, don't opt for that community, because then if you're stuck, who will solve your problem? So uh, choosing an active community is really really important. You can't just go and contribute. And let's say if the community is not active, the chances of your PR or your issues getting merged also decreases significantly. So one of the most important, apart from this matching your tech stack, is that the community should be active enough. So and then when once you have selected the organization, I would say go, don't just stick to one. Try to understand two at least. Pick at the end of the day, you should pick two organizations. Just clone their project, try to understand the code base, and uh, then you should go for like, okay, now you should start contributing. So for contributing, once you are familiar with the code base, you are familiar with everything, try to make very small changes. And for understanding the code base, I would say you should use debugger. Add checkpoints, use debugger. That will help you understand the code flow very easily. Like it will be really easy for you. Okay, this is how the code works. If I'm making this thing, this call, then this is first it is going to this function, then it is going to this function. So that makes very easy for you to understand the code base. So this is something I would say you should always keep in mind. Organization selection is very important, like when you're doing GSoC.
Okay, Dee. Next, coming to GSoC contributor application period, and what are the some tips for the proposal?
Okay, GSoC contributor application period. So GSoC basically gives you that 1 month of time where they launch the organization, and then you have the time to contribute and uh, manage to give your proposal. They launch their projects like this project. There, every organization has like again, every organization has different projects. Some organization gives 10 projects, but out of them only 5 get selected. Something like that happens. Let's say when I contributed for Rocket Chat, so while listing out the projects, there were like 10 or 12 something, which they say we can contribute to. Let's say I make a proposal on that project and I do everything. And at the end of the day, it does not get selected. Like there are very fair chance. So that also we should keep, that is, I would say that is luck based majorly. But that we should keep in mind, okay, every organization has some slots. Google provide them, okay, we will approve only 5 of your projects this year. Though they have mentioned 10 at the time of selection on the time of, but only 5 got selected. So that also we need to keep in mind. We need to look for a project which you think the chances of getting selected would be more. So that also, and apart from that, like timeline period. So 1 month we have, but it's very tough that we start contributing in that. We contribute in that 1 month. We get proposal in that 1 month. We show ourselves. So we should start a little early. Let's say I selected my organization already, and this year they also got selected. When the organization list comes in, this year they also got selected. So what you can do is you can start till then you should have a little understanding of the code base. You should have little contribution done if you can do, obviously. Otherwise, it's like you can start in that 1 month also. So you should start contributing so that you get in the, like the mentors can see, okay, that you are participating, that you're doing something. Also, when we are what is basically the proposal of GSoC? So proposal is telling the mentors that whatever project they have said, Like let's say in my time, it was Google. They wanted to add a Google reCAPTCHA. So I will tell you with that example. So I have to mention in that proposal how I am going to do this project, what all things I will be doing. So one of the best thing which you can do is you can create a small POC. That this is how it will look like, and these code changes I will make in this part. Just a small POC. Like okay, this will give them the confidence. Okay, this person has the knowledge of the code base. This person has the knowledge of the problem they are solving. So basically, you have to prove in that proposal whatever you have mentioned the problem. We are the most eligible person to solve that problem, and we are like 100% sure that we have the knowledge, we have the required skills to solve this project, and we'll deliver you the project by the end of the period because we are already prepared with that. So this is one thing you have to mention in your proposal. In that 1 month period, you have to have to get that. I would say you should spend 15 days in making the proposal. By 15th day, you should show that to your mentor for the first review. After they get, I remember my proposal after fifth iteration by my mentor telling me, okay, change this. Then going back to him again, okay, now what should I do more? Then he's suggesting, okay, you can add this also. So I think my project itself, my proposal after fifth iteration, it was like, okay, now you can submit it. But you should have the time also. We should give the time also. Let's say I remember in my time, 4th April was a deadline. So I showed my proposal to my mentor 21st March. So you should have some time period that okay, till this time I will show them, because it's not like I will give them on 3rd of April and they will just tell them suggestion right away. They also have their time limits. So you should prepare your proposal in that 15 days itself. The proposal also mentions how much contribution you have done for the organization. Apart from this thing, how much contribution? Because let's say I'm in a company, I own a company. So I would also want, okay, if I'm hiring someone, they should, and it's an open source thing, it means the code was available for them prior also. So if do they have knowledge of the code base? If I have fixed some issues for them, or I've created a small feature for them, then it will give them confidence. Okay, she's already aware with the student is already aware with the code. So it will give them confidence. So that way issues also plays a really important role. How much issues you have solved, how much features you have done, or maybe while going through their website or while going through the software, I might have found some bug. That also we can raise as an issue, which I'm not aware how to solve it, but I know that this is a bug. And that also, that telling that also, creating an issue about that also. So that also plays a really important role. Okay, this person has actually gone to the software. Even if not development, you have not developed anything, solved anything, you have gone through the code. You have the knowledge of the software. So that section is also there, like your contribution in the organization. So that section is really important. So you should have some contribution done. So for proposal, I would say is just make it like that. Even if a person reads, it's like this person can only do it. So you should be that good enough in the proposal. Okay, this person has the entire knowledge. So that's all you should do for the proposal. And for the deadlines, I would say start a little early than the application period. Before that, you should start a little bit contribution or just understand the code base. So that will be really beneficial.
Okay, Ji. So, how was your journey in GSoC and what were your strategies in time management? Like, you were also having some college work or also. So, how you
So
manage college and GSoC together?
so to be very honest, what I did was I tried doing it in my second year for the first time. But then again, I got really demotivated when I went there, and I was like, what is this? I don't even understand a word about it. Because I selected for an organization which was like, I was not even familiar with the topics over there. They were doing in the JavaScript itself, in the React itself, but they were a lot more than that. Their coding standards, everything was very different. So I was like, this is not something I can do. And I started, to be honest, I started very late. Like I think I remember I was like on 6th of March something, while the period was from Feb itself. I started, okay, now I will see what is GSoC. So I started very late. I was not much familiar with that thing. So again, I tried to understand the code base and everything, but again, I got demotivated and I just stopped. Okay, okay, this is not my cup of tea. I'm not good enough for that. But then again in third year, I tried. At that time, I was trying a little early, but then Smart India Hackathon came in. So again, I have to drop it off. I have to choose between the one. Okay, I thought, okay, Smart India Hackathon, because already I was thinking that I'm not good enough for this or something, something. But then the Hacktoberfest came, and I started contributing over there. So that gave me a little bit confidence. Okay, this is not that tough. The open source is like, if you go step by step, and till then I have like a little bit knowledge of coding better than second year, of course. So I was like, okay, it is not that tough. I can try for open source. But then in fourth year, I was like, this is my final chance. I have to do it. So then I started it. So being very honest, for a time being, I was like, okay, I was not giving. I used to go to my college, and my college was like 2 hours apart from my place. So I used to go there, and as soon as I used to come back, I used to take 1 hour break, and then I used to be like, okay, now I will start doing. So at that time, I started doing it, and I'm being very honest. As for a certain, like, for 2 weeks, I used to give six hours also. I have a very fixed schedule that I'll only sleep for 6 hours, and I will do this for 6 hours because I need to go to college also. So for 2 weeks, but that 2 weeks of my, I would say, hard work gave me enough confidence that I like. Then in the rest of weeks, I was like, okay, I'm understanding now. My speed increased. My things, like, I was able to take things more lightly because I was able to understand it. And earlier I was like, okay, what is this? How to do this? Where they actually the function is calling. So that 2 weeks of hard work gave me that time limit. Okay, I can understand everything quite easily now. Matlab, I have this strong grasp over the code now. So I won't suggest ki that you need to sit 6 hours every day, or you actually need to go for 2 weeks. You can try and you can take a little bit more time, strategize. People actually start doing it from December itself. December, January. They start their journey from that time itself. So it's not necessary that you have to wait till the end moment, or just do like me, go for six hours and not like focusing all on itself for 2 weeks. You can actually take time. You can give three hours per day, or you can just give two hours per day, depending on the time limit. It's not necessary. But then at the same time, you should then know, okay, I need to start this early. This should be my complete routine. For this time I will do this, till this time I will understand the code base. Set your deadlines, I would say, because it's true, if you don't have a deadline, we don't do the work. So set that hard deadlines for yourself. If I am saying that I will do it till 15th, then I should do it by 15th. Set a soft deadline and set a hard deadline for yourself for everything. Let's say for selecting the organization, I have selected 10th of Jan. For then selecting the, for understanding the code base, 10 more days. So I should have a soft deadline as well as hard deadline. Same for the proposal thing. Proposal के लिए you should have a really hard deadline. By this day, I will give it to my mentor no matter what. I have to complete it. So for the proposals also, and it's a very true reality, I would say, in GSoC. When I got into GSoC, lot of people participate. If you see the application amount, it's like very huge. In lakhs, people participate. Registers. But you know the proposal count, that is too less. So even if it's not like if you have a very big competition over there, for the proposal, I would say, even if the maximum I have seen is 10 for a project, 10 people are giving the proposal at the end of the day. I feel 10 is not such a big number that people should back out thinking, okay, these many people are contributing. At the end of the day, you will see a lot of people contributing, but only for a particular project, only 10, at max 10, or if I say more, 15. That is, I haven't seen 15, to be very honest, but 15 people giving the proposal. So this is not such a big number that you should be scared of contributing to. Com- uh, Having a competition in 15 is a low thing compared to how many people are actually registering for that. So that should not stop someone from contributing again, because at the end of the day, the competition is not very big as it seems. The reality is much less.
Okay, Dee, this was from my side. And anything extra you want to tell to the audience?
Just, I would say, is be consistent, and don't get demotivated in the process. Even if you're not able to make any contribution or something, try to make changes in the readme itself. That will give you a little that motivation you need for your to go on. So yeah, I would say just don't get demotivated. There is not much competition till you reach the end. But the point is, try to reach at the end. Don't get demotivated in between. And also, one more thing I missed out. Don't like don't feel ashamed of reaching out to people in the community. They are actually there for your help. Sometimes I get it, people, even we are working professionals, so even we miss your messages, or we have missed the community page, have not seen the issues or something. It's okay, reach out again and try to understand things. Like, don't get ashamed what will people think. No, people over there are actually, people are aware that you guys are students and that you guys are here for learning. So don't feel ashamed of reaching out and even asking a very small, if you think that is a very stupid doubt, how will I ask it? Don't, nothing is stupid. Everyone has a different difficulty level, and everyone has a different difficulty level. So just don't feel ashamed of anything. Even if you have to reach people on LinkedIn and ask something, just go over there and ask.